Okay, so we have just 2 more left, and we need to get m alone. And so what I would suggest for this is to not try to copy. Just watch what I do and not understand it, and then rewatch it and not understand it, and rewatch it. And hopefully if you've watched it a few times, then you can copy it down and try it yourself. And note that there's also one in the worksheet for you to do. I would say that, and this is going to sound bad, but probably 75 to 85% of people do not get this question. It is quite complicated. Maybe this is your lucky day and you're part of the 15%, 20% that will actually understand this, but we'll just find out. So I need to get m alone, but it's stupid because there's 2 of them. So what we need to do is we need to get the m's on the numerator. I'm tired of denominator. So what we want to do is get rid of the denominator and then get the m's together on one side. So first thing I need to do is get rid of the denominator. M minus 1 times m minus 1. Now they're gone. But I got to do that on this side. M minus 1. So I've got a p. So I've got a p and an m minus 1 on the left. And I have just an m on the other side. So I can't, I've gotten rid of my denominators. Now everything's on the numerator. There is no fractions anymore. However, I can't just take this and bring it to the other side. What I have to do is get rid of the brackets. So I'm going to multiply this p in to get rid of the brackets. I got p times m is a pm. P times negative 1 is just a negative 1p, but I don't need the 1. It's just a negative p is equal to m. Now I have no brackets, so I can subtract this pm over to the other side. And the whole thing, it's all one term, so I can just subtract it over to this side. So pm minus pm is gone. Then I have a negative p on the left equals, I've got an m minus a pm. So, what have I done so far? I multiplied by m minus 1 to get rid of denominators. I did that right away. I thought that was stupid. Then I need to get rid of these brackets. So I multiply the p in, pm, and negative p. And then I need to subtract this whole pm over to the right-hand side. And that's where I am. I've subtracted the pm over to the right-hand side. And then this is why it's in this section. So these have something in common. They have something we can factor out. This is part of the factoring unit. The thing that they have in common is just an m. So if I divide an m out of this, and I can write it here, if I divide an m, maybe I'll do it in a different color, divide an m out of this and put it out in front, then I have m over m is just 1, and these m's will cancel out, and I'm just left with a p, a 1 minus p. So, the reason I did that is how many m's are there on this list, on this line? There's 2. There's an m and there's a pm, so there's 2 m's. But I took that as a common factor, and now how many m's are on that line? Only 1. And it says m times 1 minus p, so I can divide by 1 minus p, divide by 1 minus p. Those are gone, and I just have left negative p over 1 minus p. That's on the left, and on the right, I just have an m. And so now m is alone. So m is now alone, and that's what we needed to do. Now I could go over this entire thing over again, but that would be really inefficient of me to do, because what I could just do is say, well, go ahead, rewatch it. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm just going to zoom here, and you can take a look at everything that I've done, though, again, I've said this so many times, it's probably easier if you just look at the ones that are already completed, because they're probably a little bit neater. So I don't know, what I think you should probably do is just rewatch it. Another once, twice, 3 times, and then try it on your own using the video as a guide. Now let's try H, because H is completely different. I need to get m alone. Now what isn't the same is that I'm tired of this numerator. So I'm going to take this numerator and bring it up. However, I need to get the m alone. Well, no, let's just do this. We'll multiply by the denominator, because that way it keeps it consistent to what we just did, 5 minus m. So then all of that is all with that. Okay. So on the, I would hope this goes without saying, but you should not be following along with me. You should just be watching this just to see what I did. And then after you watch it 100 times, then you can try it. So first thing I did here is I take the whole denominator and rolled it up here as the numerator so I could cancel them out. Then I did it on the left. So I've got a q square root of 5 minus m. There's already an n that was previously up there. So I need to get the m alone. And I need to get rid of this square root, in case you've forgotten, is actually an exponent of a power of a half. And exponents are last. We can't get rid of exponents right now. We need to get rid of any multiplying. I am multiplying by an n, and I am multiplying by a q. So I'm going to divide by nq on both sides to get rid of what I'm multiplying. So the n is gone and the q is gone. So I've got the square root of 5 minus m equals 4p squared over nq. Now I can get rid of a square root by squaring it. And I can square this. So I've got 5 minus m equals, you could square this if you want, so 4 squared is 16, p squared squared is p to the 4, n squared is n squared, q squared is q squared. So I'm almost done here. I need to get the m alone, so I'll subtract the 5 from both sides. So that's gone. So I've got negative m equals 16p4, look at all this nonsense, n squared q squared, take away 5. And the last thing I need to do is get rid of this negative. So you could divide this, but I'm just going to times this by negative 1. A negative times a negative is gone. And I got to times all this by negative 1. So I get m equals, so if I'm going to have it times by negative 1, I can put a negative into there and a negative into here. So instead of a positive 16, it'll be a negative 16 p4 n squared q squared, and negative 5 times negative 1 here would become a positive 5. So that's it. That's it. Makes it seem like it's really easy, but no, this is incredibly difficult. So I'm going to zoom out here so you can take a look at that and just say, what the heck just happened? And you can rewatch this video when your parents go and sit you down for supper and you say to them, no, you can't eat right now. I have to watch Mr. Muller's videos because they're too confusing. I need to watch it 100 times. Okay, so that's what your plan is. You're skipping supper, you're skipping all of your activities, you're watching this video 100 times to try to figure out what the heck I just did.